The small note forwarded by Sri Kumar has a few words. I'll first respond to them. What is proposed is, I think, very clear: assessment, simplify, and then mindset. When you think of, now you mentioned CBSE, competency-based assessment. I'll come to that first. There are two words we use in assessment. First word is what you call skills, and then competencies. Quite often we say skills and competencies are used interchangeably, but there is a slight difference. Skills refer to the relevant knowledge and experience needed to perform a specific task or a job. That's what we mean by the term skill. Competencies are slightly more than that. The term competency refers to not just skills, but also the knowledge, attitude, and mindsets, as highlighted by Sri Kumar, and soft skills associated with various fields of learning, work or occupation, or professional practice, like law, engineering, medicine, and so on. Mindset is a set of beliefs that shape how we think, how we feel, how we should respond to. For example, long back, there was a mindset that girls need not study, let them work at home. That was a fixed mindset at that time. Gradually, it got changed that girls require education and equity must be established. Then came a mindset, girls can't learn mathematics, boys can't read well. We have overcome that mindset also. This is what we call from fixed mindset to what we call growth mindset. The mindset keeps on changing and should change from one mindset to the other. Again, another example. A few weeks back, I was in the academic council meeting of an university in Delhi. They were running hospitality and hotel management program. They prepared the lunch for us. And the lunch was very good. When I came out of the room, they asked me, "Sir, can you help us in getting a job in a 5-star hotel?" That mindset was, I want a wage employment. Then I asked them, "You are such wonderful chefs, food was very good. Why don't you start a restaurant by your own effort?" Immediate mindset was, "Sir, is it not risky?" When I explained, they realized this was the right time to take risk. And by the time I left, they said, "Sir, we are willing to take the risk." See, the mindset changes. Oh, it is too risky, I can't do it. But now I can do it. It's a challenging. This is what we call the growth mindset. Now, coming back to competencies, since Sri Kumar mentioned CBSE, what are the competencies we are looking at in the case of a student? 4 competencies related to, say, disciplinary or interdisciplinary or a transdisciplinary learning. Number 1, all students should be able to acquire and demonstrate a coherent understanding of a disciplinary or interdisciplinary areas and linkage between different courses within that area. For example, if you are a student of chemistry, what is the linkage between physical chemistry, pharmaceutical chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and so on? This is the first aspect of a competence. Second, what we call procedural knowledge. That means to become what kind a professional in the field, what kind of knowledge we need. Like if you want to build a bridge, what are the knowledge we require about different aspects of bridge? That is what we call procedural knowledge. It is something to be assessed. Next is what we call skills. Skills to make a bridge or do a project and so on. Then lastly, can we apply these skills and knowledge to really construct a bridge, construct a house, and so on? So you find in terms of disciplinary, interdisciplinary aspects, there are 4 areas of assessment area: a coherent knowledge of subject area, procedural knowledge, skills related to doing a task related to discipline, and actual application. But more important, what CBSE talks about is that in addition to this, a series of what is referred to as 21st century skills. For instance, problem solving. Can we create a student who can become a problem solver? This is one competence. And this is across all disciplines and study and subject areas. All students in all schools and colleges should have problem-solving ability, number 1. 2, what you call critical thinking. For example, the state or central government proposes union budget or state budget. A student of economics, can he critically look at it? Would it produce more jobs? Or is it jobless growth? Is it environmentally not sustainable growth? A kind of critical analysis of the budget provisions. And that is what we call critical thinking. Third is what we call creative thinking, the real competence. Like for instance, if I ask the viewers of this conference, can you redraw the logo of Rajagiri channel? You will get hundreds of answers. No single answer, according to the creativity of each person. That's the kind of critical thinking we would like to assess sometimes. Next, since the time is short, we all want our students to be what we call skilled communicators, both in oral and written form. Can we assess skilled communication? And I am asked a question, how do you do that? When I go for interviews to select students for assistant professors, I ask a question. Did you ever have a chance to explain something to a general audience, not a technical audience, something which you had done? They would say, yes, I have done it. Then I ask them, can you explain how you did it? That is how we assess the communication skill of a person. So that is very important. Then all students in all levels now need what we call digital literacy and skills, a skill and a competence on that. Then ethical and moral reasoning, very important. And I'll go faster now. What does the national education policy talks about in this context? They talk about what we call holistic development. What does that mean? In simple terms, it means development in terms of intellectual aspects, domain, in terms of physical domain, physical development, in terms of social development, in terms of ethical development, in terms of emotional development, in terms of aesthetic development, in terms of moral development. The assessment we are talking about now should assess all these aspects of a student. I repeat once again, intellectual, physical, social, emotional, ethical, moral, aesthetic development in all aspects. If that is the case, we need to assess competencies relevant to these things. So there are discipline-specific or subject area-specific competencies, which I mentioned the 4 aspects. There are generic learning outcomes like problem solving, critical thinking, creative thinking, leadership readiness or leadership skills. Can we do it? Emotional aspects. Can we control our emotions and so on? And then the mindset, we talked about it, the fixed or growth mindset. Can we move from a person having fixed mindset to a what you call a growth mindset? How do we assess those things? So these are some of the things we are looking at this. There is one more point CBSE talks about it, 360-degree assessment. What does that mean? That essentially means what the policy says, policy implications. Whatever we do in the education program should recognize, identify, and foster the unique capabilities of each student, unique capabilities, so as to develop the student's holistic development. Second, competency development based assessment essentially means it is based on mastery of a competence. That means all children will not master a learning outcome at the same time. It may vary. Therefore, can we make learning assessment a little more what you call flexible, more criterion referenced? I have only 2 minutes left now, so I'll rush on that. That criterion referenced means you are not comparing 2 students. You are comparing the competence of a student today with what she or he should attain after completing a course of study. It means you are comparing the performance of student today versus what she or he should be. This is what we call a criterion. Sometimes we also call it performance-oriented, performance-based, and so on. So the challenge before us in the field of assessment is, how do we make learning or education competence-based? And how do you assess that? The point made by objectivity. If we specify the competence properly, we can assess it. Like I'm a student of mathematics, a simple example I'm giving you. A student should be able to subtract a small 2-digit number from a larger 2-digit number. There can be 2 examples. One could be 88 minus 44. There is no regrouping at the one's place. The other example could be 82 minus 48. From 2, you can't subtract 8. So I regroup 82 from 8 tens and 2 ones to 7 tens and 12 ones. Then 12 ones and 8 ones is 4 ones. Look at the competency level can be fixed. I'll say subtract a small 2-digit number from a bigger one without regrouping or without involving regrouping, with involving grouping. The competency level is fixed. Like that, we can fix a variety of things. Looks my time is up. It's my initial remark. And I'll come back later when you have more time. Thank you, Srikumar. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Professor Ramachandran. Actually, you touched upon so many interesting aspects, and it's not a very easy thing. Competency is a very complex area to work upon. And I think you have given a fairly broad idea of how it works. So the end of the term, summative assessment cannot capture all this. So there has to be an ongoing process. That's why this continuous comprehensive assessment was introduced, I think. But still, importance is given to the year and term and examinations. So whether that is the
Srikumar,
right.
let me interrupt you here. I forgot
Yeah.
to mention that will be useful. When you talk about assessment, there are three aspects of assessment. The policy rightly says that, and I had the privilege of being a member of the group which drafted that. Assessment as learning. That you use the results of assessment to further improve one's own learning. Self-reflection. The second is what you call assessment of learning. The point you rightly mentioned, the summative assessment. What assessment of learning outcomes. The third is more important, assessment for learning. That means formative assessment. Use the assessment done frequently, as you rightly said, comprehensive assessment, continuous, to further improve learning. So three aspects, assessment as learning, of learning, and for learning. More emphasis now is placed on assessment for learning, frequent, competency-based, to give a feel to students, where am I? With a reference to what I should attain. So that's the highlight now. So promote in all institutions and use the principle of assessment as learning, of learning, and for learning in a bigger way.